Ooh, coming in hot. Well, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening? Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in. Time to get rolling. All right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, hey, hey. So many buttons to push all the time right at the beginning. Check 1 2 1 2. Is this mic on?
Hello. Is this thing on?
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. There we go, Pops. Good Wednesday morning. Mad love to the First Sky Squad and fam. Good morning to you, Pops.
Hey, top of the morning.
Top of the morning. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Good morning to you as well.
Hello.
That's what's up, man. Getting up early.
Hump day.
You know what day it is? Oh, I got the right day. All right, cool.
Yeah, you was right.
All right, you was right. Oh, man. Good morning. Beth Davis Wilson gives us a good morning. What's happening, Beth Davis Wilson?
Hey.
Where the pancakes at? Brother Valentine says, morning, fam. What's going on, Brother Valentine? Turn myself up a little bit in the headphones.
Turn my headphones up.
Judy Pritzler gives us a morning, family. How you doing, Judy?
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning. Thanks for getting up early with us on this Wednesday, September 28th.
Yeah.
Man, October is upon us.
Coming on in.
Coming on in.
Let us know y'all getting over the hump.
Yeah, man. What? Yeah. Does it feel that way to y'all? Like, I understand the feeling. If you got a 9 to 5, man, you like, man, is it Wednesday already?
Man,
we still got a whole half a week left.
Yes, sir.
All right, Leah Keister is excited for all the days, all the time. Woo woo Wednesday to you now. That's
okay.
What's up.
Love your enthusiasm. Keep it coming.
She like Wednesday. She like Friday.
Yay.
Yeah. Like all the good stuff. What's up to all the Ghost listeners in this morning as well? Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor, share the show on your Facebook page if you're watching us there. If you're over on YouTube like Miss Keister, then thank you very much for joining us there. Like and subscribe and all that. I don't even know what the phrase is, except like and subscribe. And they say stuff like smash that like button.
Yeah.
And something about a bell ringing.
Tickle the bell.
Something like that. All that, whatever that is. That's what's up. I guess it's just like Facebook, like that. You can get a notification that we're on. So if you hit the bell, okay, that's what's up. Go on, do it then. Shout out to the 630 crew. Let me know how the mix was this morning over on the radio channel, firstskyOmaha.com. Hit the listen button.
Yeah, man.
Get your funk on. Y'all heard Morris Day is retiring?
Oh.
Yeah.
Thought he been retired.
Dang. We've been touring. Still cool.
Man, it's a lot of old heads working still, man.
Hey, that's the only way you can make money in the music business now. You got to tour.
Yeah. But it's nice to see like hip hop heads finally getting some of that action too, you know?
This is true. Let academics tell it though.
Nah.
They just not getting no money.
Man, hey, this is like the second time I heard the academics name like getting drugged through the mud, man. We just had Simba. If anybody knows about Simba, young MC out of the Bay Area, met him yesterday. He was on the We Outside show. And he got to talking about academics. I think actually him and 2 Chainz got a song about academics. Yeah, it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
He backtracking now. He's saying he agree with LL. We'll talk about it. Just everybody coming in this morning, really appreciate it. Like Keisha said, the bell has been rung. That's what's up.
Hey,
Let us
ring
know how,
my bell.
let us know how that works.
Hey.
Let us know how that works when
Yeah.
we come up the next time. Mark Manor in the house. What's up, man? He says, good one more album coming up from Morris Day. Wait a minute. Did you buddy, did you see the Morris Day Big Daddy Kane track?
No.
Grown Man. It's called Grown Man or something like that. It's dope.
Hey, I gotta check it out. I mean, BDK still got it, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's dope. Super dope. Beth Davis Wilson says, I gotta finish up the jazz project. You have a good day. Thanks for coming in and saying hi.
Okay.
I like to feature that jazz project you got going on. It's tight. It's real tough.
She whipping up some jazz.
No, man, it's some art pieces that she's putting down for one of the cities. I think it's you have to tell us more about it, but we'll feature that because that stuff that you got going on is real tough. I love it.
No.
Kia Williams says good morning. That's a name I'm not familiar with.
Yeah,
Good morning to you.
Welcome.
Carolyn Jackson says good morning. Have to see Morris before he hangs up the Stacy's. Yeah, man. He ain't moving like he used to, but you know what it is. Morris Day is one of the smartest entertainers ever. He invented some dances. He invented some dances that you can do well into your old age, and he's been doing it well into his old age. Smart. Yeah, he ain't moving much, but it's dynamic.
Yeah, it's a good word. Dynamic.
Mark Manor said 2 weeks. It's out. Okay, new music by Morris Day. Is that just Morris Day or Morris Day in the Time? That's what I'd like to know.
Okay.
Happy Hump Day, y'all. Josh Tag, what's up, man?
Hump Day.
Says, thank you both. Hey, yeah, appreciate you. Welcome for you coming. Rose Reviews in the house. Her body measurements are perfect in every dimension. She got to figure that sure enough getting attention. She's poetry in motion, beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy.
Hey.
Right on, Rose Reviews singing the old school. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
Oh, just Morris. Okay, all right. Well, no, it ain't that far. It's cool. Morris is cool by itself too. I just, I'm a Jimmy Jam Terry Lewis fan. I like the time.
Hey, home team.
Home team. That's what it is. And everything Morris does, he kind of gets help from that camp anyway, man. So it'll come out funky. That's what it is.
Which one has an Omaha connection?
Jerome and Terry Lewis from the duo from the power producing duo Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Terry Lewis is from Omaha, and his cousin is Jerome from the Time, and so they're both from Omaha, but they moved to Minneapolis pretty early on. But yeah, Omaha connections, man. I was in the barbershop one time, and they're like, "Yeah, Jerome's my cousin." Talking to some cat at there.
Owe me $5.
Too good to come back down here to Omaha. Yeah, man, that's what's up. And for those of you who don't know who the Time is, that was think of Purple Rain and Morris Day in the Time, the rival.
What's wrong with
you? Yep. Eminem Omar Valentine in the house says the conversation about academics and hip hop is somewhat a reflection of what is going on in the community between the young and the older community activists. Way to tie that in, brother.
Yes, that's actually a very, very interesting point, man. Again, I do the We Outside podcast, and there's some older DJs and older, producers and cats that's been in the game for quite a while, especially OG Big X. But yeah, it's funny you bring that up. There are some conversations happening both in hip hop and in just community development, community activism between generations. That's very, very, very interesting, and it goes hand in hand. Hip hop is always a reflection of the culture in general. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting.
And let's fill people in. The people that don't know who we're talking about, DJ Academics is a podcast critic type of cat.
Yeah, I don't even think he's a real DJ.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so either. But he's gained some notoriety on getting on some of these high profile podcasts around, and he kind of reviews music and stuff like that. So he's a critic. Think of film critics who ain't made no films yet, still talking right. Josh Tay call him academics. He's I'm not gonna talk too bad about him because he got some he comes in with his opinion pretty strong enough to stand out. Number one. Number two, young folks is really kind of gravitating to things that he got to say, and I can kind of see it through their eyes what he's talking about sometimes, but he went a little too far recently bad mouthing the pioneers of rap, the OGs of rap. Calling them dusty because they ain't got a whole lot of money, and not really acknowledging the fact that they built this thing that he is now cashing in on. And all the OGs came out the woodwork. LL did a really cool kind of just letting the brother know stuff. Other cats came on like who else was talking junk? What's the white dude's name that's always up in everybody's face all the time? The actor.
You talking about I'm
You know what I'm
drawing a
talking
blank.
about. Man,
Yeah, yeah, no,
he went
what's
all
his
off.
name?
He went all the way off on that cat. Yeah, man. So Rosary said whackademics. Yeah, so the dudes, so now he backtracking now. He's like, I would never disrespect the elders who came before us. Everything LL said was right, but I had a different point. I had a point about, so his point was that if you're not making a whole bunch of money, then you ain't really Michael Rappaport. That's who I'm talking. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah,
James.
yep.
Rappaport went off on the dude all the way. So it's a little bit of fire behind all this stuff, man. Ice-T said some things too. Yeah, Pops. I forgot about that. So yeah, man, all the OGs came out and was like, look, you here, youngin. I can see what you're talking about, Brother Valentine. Like the young activists, the older activists. When you think about people, the young cats that are out here doing stuff, their values are different. Their values have to do more with who got the money, and are you getting you getting the bag. From what I can see, that's kind of like a lot of that respect and bag is kind of the young man's game. And the older community are more about collaboration and more about the bigger picture. Just kind of I guess it's now that I'm saying it, it's like that's of all time the difference between young and old. You know, so so I don't know. It's a lot to pay attention to. A lot. I like how you tied that together with the community, though. The community activists, young and older community activists, are definitely at odds sometimes with their value systems. That's what it really is the value systems. So
and also not just being aware of accomplishments, especially as like a young person getting involved into the fray, if you will. It's easy to look at, because there still is a fray. It's easy to look at older generations like, man, what y'all did? What did y'all do? Like, why do I have to come and pick this up? Like, y'all didn't do nothing. And it's like, nah, that's not necessarily the case. We did what we did. Now it's your turn to do what you do. But you gotta connect
in proper form, in typical form, Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, latest episode of Atlanta deals with just this whole issue right here.
Really?
Paperboy is now turning it into the OG status, and the young cats, the TikTok stars, do not know who he is, but they're selling millions already. One generation away. So it's really relevant what's going on the latest episode of Atlanta. Season 4 is out, by the way. We always endorse Atlanta. Donald Glover is really kind of the storyteller of all times right now. So definitely check that out. But in between time, we didn't jabbed on for a minute. 7:13 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, what are we gonna talk about today, buddy?
Man, we actually have a lot to talk about. Some stories that we did not get to touch on Monday that we're going to round back around to talk about. Definitely continuing our conversation on the St. Francis situation. Again, State Attorney General Doug Peterson announcing that there will be a fraud investigation on St. Francis Ministries, and we're definitely keeping our eyes open for that. But now also we are turning to the transition. Again, St. Francis Ministries, now that the investigations are going and the contract is officially over, there is still this transition of the child welfare contracts from St. Francis to the state and possible other private contractors. Maybe not. So we'll talk about where that stands and look at that situation. Also looking at our prison workers, another conversation that we've been having. Not only is Nebraska's prison system overcrowded, but it is also understaffed. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about what are they doing to possibly raise some of those staff numbers, and is it the right route, and what impact could that have? So I definitely want to talk about that. Also continuing to follow the money. Big shout out to our chat chimers for bringing this to our attention. This is definitely one of the examples of us listening to y'all and taking your lead on some of the conversations that we're going to have here on the show. The Omaha City Council recently approved an additional $400,000 for the library demolition. Again, that's coming after the initial bid was much lower than what they're asking for now. So we'll kind of talk about some of the behind the scenes, maybe read between the lines on that situation. And I also want to dive into some EPA stuff. This is actually something that we've been dealing with here in Omaha, and now it's making national headlines as far as environmental justice and environmental advocacy. Again, I will remind us that Douglas County did recognize health disparities and those things as a racial issue. I forget the actual designation, the language in which they put it, but again, Douglas County did make an official recognition of things like environment, health, services, access to food, those types of things as a racial disparity or a racial issue. So we'll definitely be talking about that and more. As always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that you want to talk about, let us know. In the meantime, in between time, let's get this thing rolling. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, first time listeners, last time listeners. We're all here. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Let's go. Yeah.
Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you, the chat chimers, all of you, the ghost listeners, everybody who has tuned in. Appreciate you guys getting up early this morning with us. Thank you so much for coming in and already jumping on the chat. The chat is what makes this show, and we could not do this show without you, the chat chimers. Do us a favor if you're on Facebook, share the show on your page so we can get as many people in as possible and get some new voices in as well, and maybe inspire some voices that are listening in the shadows to speak up. Appreciate that very much. Also, thank you if you're over there on YouTube for joining us there. Thank you very much, and please like and subscribe and tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I think Mara Sanchez the other day said we're up to 146 people on YouTube, slowly creeping up. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Also, Mara Sanchez says if Ice-T isn't in your top 5, can't trust your judgment. How y'all feel about that? And I think that's why Pops was saying Ice-T. I wonder. Pops also says Atlanta is what's happening. Yes, most definitely. Yes. Go check out Atlanta. Season 4 is out now. So much good commentary that goes on that show. It's ridiculous. And then also don't forget today, man, this is Women's Wednesday. So we got special guest Precious McKesson coming in, Politicin with P coming up. And also What's Good in the Hood with Miss Kimara Snipes. Put some respect on her name as well. She will be in as well a little later on in the show. So stick around for that interview. She always brings some really, really good information. She got some things to talk to us about. And also, we got hit up by Dave Pontos yesterday, and we're going to have him on Friday. So stay tuned for that show with Dave Pontos on Friday. It's getting ready to heat up. I think we're going to have a lot of politicians on here in the next few weeks because of what's going on in November. So remember, November's upon us. It's going down. One more thing I wanted to say before we jump into the show is that hurricane is on its way. Cuba is already out of power. Check your people down south. Florida's about to get hit. They didn't shut down all the airports in Florida. People are boarding up stuff and everything else. So check on your people. North Carolina's probably going to get hit. And make sure everybody's cool and everybody is got provisions and is ready for this hurricane to hit. It's supposed to be a big one. So if you got family down south, check on them. If you got family, if you got people in Cuba, check on them if you can. I don't even know how the power's down now. So
man,
we'll see what's up. But hurricane's coming. Watch yourselves.
They're talking about we're expecting to get some of that here too. I don't know how much we're going to get hit, but definitely expecting some rain. Some storms. I don't know if it'll be hurricane level winds and things like that. Hopefully not. But we're expected to get a piece of that action as well by like Friday.
Chrissy North says my son is 20 miles out of Tampa. Woo.
Prayers going up.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on, Carolyn Jack. Yep. So just kind of just wanted to put that out there just in case people are not really looking at the news too tough. We get up and look in the morning real strong for this show. So I came across it and thought, yeah, I know. So we all got people down south. We better check on them. So
yeah, man.
With that said, let's go ahead and jump into the show. Buddy, what's on the agenda?
We'll kick off again today's show with a few shows that we left hanging in the balance on Monday, if you will. Starting with the St. Francis Ministry saga that continues and has gone on for the last several years. Again, if you're not familiar, a couple years ago, news broke. Shout out to Noise, who was in the midst of all of that, about the St. Francis Ministry's contract. Again, Kansas-based organization that was contracted to manage Nebraska's child welfare cases, specifically in more rural areas in the Omaha metro, mainly is what we're here talking about. Some of the areas that this impact took place. And now, again, a fraud investigation has launched after that contract has been done away with. But we're not here to talk about the fraud investigation. We're here to talk about the transition. Again, this whole St. Francis Ministries contract thing was a test to, not necessarily a test, but it was a route. Private contracting child welfare cases was a route that Nebraska looks like it is not going back to. Governor Pete Ricketts actually celebrated on Tuesday Nebraska's child welfare workers while acknowledging that 6 out of 10 caseworkers in the Omaha area have caseloads exceeding state standards. So the question is, what does the state have, or is the state equipped really to handle this transition, and how has the transition gone? Again, beyond the financials of the St. Francis Ministries contract, there was still the issue of caseworkers having, I believe, like 30 cases in some instances, when the average casework should be about 10 caseloads per caseworker.
It was like 100 plus, man.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was what it was. It was ridiculous.
Pete Ricketts' whole state is just overcrowded with everything all the time.
All the way around. And again, these child welfare cases are not an exception. And again, Nebraska ended the contract in part because the nonprofit never met the caseload limits set by state law. Ricketts said the nonprofit did a poor job hiring and keeping case managers, a problem that continues now that the state has taken over. During Tuesday's announcement, Governor Ricketts said, "We started behind the 8 ball with getting case managers," adding that Nebraska's historic low unemployment rates also hampered efforts to bring on more workers. Health and Human Services data shows that nearly 40% of workers in the Nebraska and Sarpy County region had caseloads within the limits set by state law, which again means that 60% had over the caseload. That was in the same range as St. Francis achieved in the last year. Statewide, 71% of workers had caseloads within state standards just in August. But both Ricketts and Stephanie Beasley, who's the Children and Family Services Director for the Department of Health and Human Services, both expressed hope that the situation will improve with time. And former St. Francis workers already had cases that they were working on and continue to work on. The new workers, however, have to complete 14 weeks of training before they can take cases. They start out taking only a few cases, then work their way up to a full load. Those new workers with partial loads are counted among the 40% who meet the state standard. So again, there's still a large amount of caseworkers with the heavy load on their plate. And even as these other workers get trained and get, kind of worked in, their work still kind of laying on the shoulders of the other, previous workers. So.
And then the only people suffering really are the kids. Kids are going to be the only ones suffering through all this. So in a state that has like a boys' town and everything else that's going on here, it's crazy that there's such an issue and a problem with this. If we have any of the chat chimers, I remember back in the day we had chat chimers that were part of this system that were we even had people that were taking on caseloads and stuff like that. If there's anyone here that has any firsthand information on that, we had a couple articles this morning that was talking about the transition was going good, and then we have this one that's talking about the transition ain't going so great. And it's all about whatever narrative that Pete Ricketts wants to try to put out there about it, really, to take some of the light off of him when it comes to the controversy that happened with because at the same time there's an investigation starting now over this whole issue. So So whatever the narrative is, we kind of need to talk to the people who's got grounds, feet on the ground, and find out from them what their caseloads are like, and so on and so forth. So if you have any connections to them, or if you are them and you're listening, hit us up. Let us know. Friends of First Sky Omaha. And you can also, we never really use this much, but you can also hit us up at info@firstsky.omaha.com, the email address, and hit us up directly. And yeah, let's see if we can talk to somebody who knows a little bit more than what than what we're reading.
Yeah, yeah. But just to give a kind of firsthand anecdote, again, my wife worked for Heartland Family Services, which was a program or contract uh, with St. Francis Ministries to kind of help them fulfill their contract, and she just would tell me some of the things she would see, like caseworkers being swamped, not knowing the name of their clients, not knowing the history or situation of their clients, going to the court cases and parental rights hearings with the wrong information, all kind of stuff, man. And yeah, what happens is these families and these children pay for it.
Yeah, they suffer big time, man. And you can't even blame the caseworker. Like, how are they supposed to remember all this information? They're basically taking in folders full of information and having to cipher and sift through it as they go,
Yeah.
as they deal with people directly, sitting in people's homes, looking through papers to try to catch up on the situation. Like, messed up. Amy Huffless in the chat says, "I used to be a foster parent, and just like the prison system, the foster system is broken, and we need holistic change."
All the way around, and we had caseworkers who are protesting to speak up, and they were fired in the midst of this situation. So where are they? I'm not sure what they're doing. But yeah, all this whole situation all the way around is just sad. And again, we just got to remind ourselves that there are children, real lives being impacted and hanging in the balance of this. But I'm glad you made that comparison, Amy, because that is where we're going next as far as the prison system. Because again, let's call it what it is, man. A lot of the children and the youths who kind of fall through the cracks of this child welfare system end up in prison. I haven't having any real numbers in front of me, but there is a very direct correlation between those who lead on a path to prison and those who come from broken homes.
Yeah,
and now you say what?
If you're in the system early, then you're usually in the system later.
Right. It's hard to get out of the system. So and once you're in it and you get in prison, it's a very, very bad situation, especially in the state of Nebraska, where again the state is overcrowded as well as understaffed. That is not a good mix to have, and the state is trying to address not necessarily the overcrowding but the understaffing. And there are raises and bonuses that Nebraska is using to actually entice out-of-state workers, which I do want to talk about. Hefty pay increases and hiring bonuses, as reported by Omaha Magazine or Omaha.com, continue to be a big draw for state corrections workers, with a sizable number of new staffers in Nebraska's prisons lured from out of state. Overall, raises of up to 40% that were announced in November have helped the state attract about 670 new corrections workers. That's according to an update provided earlier this week. Some 500 or so of the new hires work in protective services, and about 250 of all new hires have come from 39 states outside of Nebraska. Scott Frakes, a former director of the Department of Corrections, says, "We are encouraged by the continued interest from those who are relocating from other states, as well as the variety of experience they are bringing with them. Training classes continue to include high numbers of individuals with prior law enforcement." This is my issue. Training classes continue to include high numbers of individuals with prior law enforcement, corrections, and military backgrounds, which suits our needs very well. The hiring surge has reduced vacancies among protective service positions, down considerably in October of last year. The update from corrections in some ways echoed findings in a state prison watchdog 2 weeks ago, which also spoke to how much the raises have improved staffing. We can just stop there, because this is the issue that I want to talk about. We all know that cops get in trouble and go somewhere else. We all know that the state of Nebraska is not very transparent when it comes to their enforcement's background and history. Are we getting the bad apples from other states coming to our state to further abuse our prisoners? Let's just call it what it is. We know how prisoners get treated by guards. And now we have a group of guards coming from another state with a history in policing, a history in military. Thoughts?
Yeah, I can imagine that that the police departments in other areas that these people will be coming from. This, to me, I can imagine that this is a thing where it's like, well, let's put them on a desk. They're out here doing abusing folks. Let's put them on a desk, or let's put them in the what that one story say? Let's put them in the evidence room. Take them off the street. Right. And I can imagine this is one of those take them off the street types of situations they can take. So how many bad apples are there? Because it could very well be like, well, let's send them to the prisons. Let's turn them into a guard, or whatever. And that's just like that's the direct, the direct sin. But like everybody else that you're talking about is these people that are being hired that have military backgrounds and so on. Is that what we need? There was a question that was in that article said, and that's what we need. I'm questioning that question.
Yeah. Scott Frake said it directly. He says, which suits our needs very well. But is that what we need? Do we need more mercenaries? Or do we need, mental health people? Do we need addiction people?
I'm sure they're not going to call themselves mercenaries, or they're going to call.
That's what they are, though. That's what I'm calling them.
And you saying that based on they're coming in with police and military background to do a private to in the private industry, working in the private industry, because most jails are privately owned.
They're paid guns. They are paid guns. Is what they are.
Guns in the prison.
Yes.
Okay. I'm asking. I do not know. Okay. So yeah, I can see the potential for some really messed up stuff. The other thing I want to know is how come there's no people locally taking these jobs? If there's somebody,
and that's what I'm thinking. That's where my mind goes as well, because if the chances are, if there's somebody local guarding these prisoners, then the chances are you're guarding somebody you're guarding a family member, you're guarding somebody that you might be familiar with, somebody that you might have seen in the community, and therefore they're more human. If I'm coming from I don't know you from a can of paint, and I'm a former officer, inmate, get back in your cell. Well, that's all you are.
That's what they want, and that's the kind of environment.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's the kind of environment they want. So that's why they would be hiring people from out of town, right?
That's my point.
Jumping into the chat, Wanda Lewis says, I haven't forgotten the Franklin credit scandal when some foster children went missing and never to be seen again. Sex scandals involving foster children. An investigator was blown up in a plane. DHS caseworkers' lives and families were threatened, forcing them to quit their jobs. All this stuff feels very connected, for sure. And it's interesting that you bring up the Franklin credit scandal, because in us being in this news realm, this comes up with so many different news organizations all the time that are trying to figure out how to approach the subject and everything. And but we kind of dance around, talk about this subject all the time in the form of what's going on with this scandal, the St. Francis situation, and so on and so forth. I mean, this is all part of that. Ron's review says that there was a story today that more than 50% are psychologically unfit. Yeah, we're going to bring that to your attention. They're doing that in California. They're taking guns away from some certain police officers that are failing their psych tests. We'll talk about that a little later. Brianna Full says, I wish the state would invest in recruiting more teachers like they did for correctional officers. Then maybe so many kids wouldn't end up in prison in the first place. Right.
There you go.
So true. Or once you age out of the system, you have little resources and money to survive. Also, Brianna Full, good morning to you. Carolyn Jack says, hope they aren't hired from Alameda County. They just stripped deputies for not passing psych. Everybody. Yes.
That's why we love our co-hosts, man. Y'all stay on top of it.
On top of it. Marianne Williams in the chat says, good morning all. Ultimately, the problem lies with a society that believes it's okay to abuse prisoners. Until that changes, I don't see how this improves. It's the same with the foster care system. Nice
Yep.
nice wrap up of all those of all that.
All those thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. The punitive thing, the punishment thing, the parental aspect of these things, not treating people like human beings, not seeing them as human beings. All these go to how these systems work in the first place.
I just had a thought, man, and everything we've been talking about so far in this show could be wrapped up into this thought. From the youth looking at, how they're looking at the old heads, to the foster care system, to the prison system. This is constantly a society telling people that they don't matter. And this is what we see how people react when they feel like and they're told that they don't matter. Whether it's your prisoner, a child, a rapper who's done things in the past, like we're constantly being told that you don't matter, and the only way to matter is to have some money.
Well, I'll tell you what, one person that matters is sitting in the wings with us right now, and we gotta go ahead and bring her in, ladies and gentlemen. We are politicking with P. Precious McKesson is in the house. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Y'all know I looked at my I was in the bed and I was like, oh, I have 30 more minutes. And I was just laying there. This was like at 7:22. And I was like, hold up. I got an email last night. I go on. I said, hold on, girl, get out this bed right now.
Well, we appreciate you getting up early with us.
Just had to run in, brush my teeth real quick, wash my face, put a little makeup on, take a little bonnet off, scrunch my hair a little bit,
Man.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
And you look great. You go in there and sprinkle a little black girl magic on you, and then all of a sudden you just come out ready. So we
you thought I was late for school the way I rose about that bed.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for jumping up. It's good to talk to you. I feel like we haven't seen you for a little minute.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
How you been? What's been up?
Just fighting the good fight and knocking them down.
I hear you. I've been following. If you don't follow Precious on Twitter, you need to go ahead and do that, because that's where all the teas at right there. Is she on Twitter.
We had a good conversation, last week. I don't know if y'all want to follow this thread. We've been watching these little slimy commercials that Don Bacon put out, and one of the last ones, the one that he continues to run, I'm talking about Tony. Senator Vargas, let's put some respect on his name, is false. It's accurate information. And so I had to go hit him with facts. He kept saying that Senator Vargas voted to increase his pay. And I just want everybody to know that he did not vote to increase his pay. What he did, he put in a proposal that was supported by other senators. It just never made it out of committee to ever make it to the floor, to ever be voted upon. And the last time that voting took place on a bill was, I think, in 2016, and Senator Vargas had not even, he won his election. He hadn't even came in yet. He wasn't sworn in until 2017. So he's never voted to have his wages increase. What he's done is proposed, which and many Republican senators have supported it. So I had to put the facts out there and had to show him Congressman. Oh shoot. Did it go off?
We still see you.
No, he's still there. He's still there.
It went away. My screen went away. I was like, wait a minute. So had to show him that like your Republican allies or friends, they support this, because there's no way that anybody can survive off of $12,000 a year. And like they said, if you increase the pay of the legislature, just imagine the diversity will change in the legislature, because people will be able to
do the work and live.
Do the work and be able to get paid. And so that's the thing that you have to look at, like people will be able to come in, like I would say middle class moms like me who work, single moms who want to make change. I will be able to say, oh, let me run for office, because this does, not only are you going in fighting for Nebraskans, but it does give a good pay, because that would be considered your job. So they know what will happen, because right now, if you look what's in the legislature, who is elected, you have lawyers, doctors, farmers, bankers, business owners, nonprofit or directors who founded nonprofits. So you have people who are able to sustain financially, but then you have people, if I wanted to go in there, it would be like, okay, now I'd have to go now not only would I would have to go work for somebody, and then I still don't have full autonomy of the work that I'm doing, because now I'm answering to somebody, because I only make $12,000 a year from the state of Nebraska as a senator, but then I got to go talk to somebody who's going to approve my PTO time. What kind of sense does that make as an official? But then you also have people where, $1,000 a month, the staff make more than your people, than the state senators. So again, we increase the pay, you increase the diversity. And I just want to agree with Brianna what Brianna said in the previous one. If you had hiring bonuses and invested money the same way that you invested correctional officers, because they literally said this year, I guess maybe since they started this whole process, maybe in December to now, they've hired 675 correctional workers. Just imagine if you had these bonuses and you increased and took that money and put into our education system, to our teachers. I promise you, our teachers would be, number one, they would have less stress because they're being able to make money to pay certain bills. They're being able to have self-care time for them. And that's what they understand. Like, when you're not making enough money, it impacts your home and impacts your mental, because you're trying to figure out how you're paying for things. But then you have to deal with, yes, you took this job as a teacher to teach and to educate kids. I agree 100%. If they stop investing in prison, investing in our kids' education and into our teachers, I promise you we'll see a better outcome.
Yeah, I like this idea that you bring in about this diversity situation, because people don't really get that a lot. Yeah, anybody who can take a position that is as important as like being on the legislature, for instance, and they don't have to worry about this little $12,000 a year that they get, which is $1,000 a month. You can't really pay no bills with that. The only people that can do that are people that are already well off, like you said, lawyers and a bunch of people. Most of these white men are not even that. They just have the money to be able to be able to just be in this job, and they even have more time than the people like Brother Terrell McKinney and Brother Justin Wayne, who also work full time. Justin Wayne's an attorney, but he's got a practice that he's running, and a construction company. So he doesn't need so as much work as he's doing that beyond the other two jobs he has. Whereas there's people in the legislature that don't have any jobs to have to worry about because they're well off. The diversity if you raise that up and you can hire people into these positions, and that can be their primary job, not only can they give more attention to that job and do a better job at it, but it'll be more diverse, more fair, so on and so forth. Really, really, I love that idea.
We have not had a Black woman elected to the state legislature since Tanya Cook and Brenda Council, and that was in 2008 when they first became the first two Black women elected to the Nebraska legislature. And then Tanya Cook termed out in 2016, and that's when Senator Wayne came in.
I wanted to just put some of this in perspective also, as far as what kind of raises these correction officers are actually getting. We did the calculations here on the show, like how much, 1,000 is nowhere near enough to actually survive in Omaha alone, with the housing market. At least just looking at the housing market is not enough. How much do you need? We calculated about $27 an hour is somewhere around a livable wage. These corrections officers and caseworkers are getting $28 an hour. And then some of the higher ranking ones are actually getting bonuses up to $15,000. Again, bonuses of up to $15,000 are available for corporals employed at 3 maximum security facilities. So essentially their bonuses are more than what our state legislators are making throughout the whole year.
And then they fighting them when we want to stop prisons from being built.
Yeah, jumping in the chat real quick. Josh Tate says the GOP know that the people who buy into the rhetoric don't even know how little Nebraska legislators get paid. Right? They're complaining. But I don't know, Josh. I kind of feel like they know what the deal is.
No,
they don't know.
Some people don't know. Some people do not know. When you tell people, like literally, when you say they only make $12,000 a year, they be like, "What?" But again,
But he's talking about the people that buy into that rhetoric, the people that are saying,
they know.
Yeah, like they saying, "Oh, Tony's trying to make a bunch of money." Like they're
using these scare tactics. They're using it scare tactics.
Right.
I mean, if you look at it, all these ads are scare tactics, and then you go ask these people who vote for these people. You get them on camera, and they sound like they got marshmallows in their mouth because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like, you're like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Like, that's a good visual right there. I'm gonna do a video of Don Bacon parody where he's just
a bunch of marshmallows in his mouth.
Christy North says only rich white folks can afford it. She also says if they take benefits through the state, they make nothing.
Make nothing
on top of all that. That's very insane. Mark Madden says Don Bacon has made grocery stores scary for me. I keep thinking I'm going to go down the cereal aisle and he will be there lying to count chocolate.
I saw his recent commercial. I'm like, which grocery store was he in? Like, I'm like, I've never seen that grocery store. Like somebody please tell me that was not a Baker's or Kroger, no frills, Super Saver. Like, dude, where were you at? Like, it was like he was at a general store. I don't know.
Not a general store. Get your chicken feed.
Oh man. We know that the biggest topic right now for all of us here that are doing this kind of work too is the November elections coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we politicking with you. We definitely want to hear some of the back end of how you think things are going, what needs to be done, and what's on your mind, and as far as what we need to hurry up and get, what we need to gather together to do besides vote. We already know that part, but what else needs to be done here?
Yeah. So, I mean, number one, we need to show up to the polls. I can't stress this enough of how much power we have in our vote. They are scared, and this is why they're using these scare tactics. We have so much power in our vote. We got to show up. We got to make sure our families are showing up. This midterm election is so important. I mean, like, so important. So we got to show up. We got to make sure that we are encouraging everybody else to get to the polls, vote for your candidate, volunteer for your candidate, even if it's just a simple making phone calls. We just got to show up, y'all. I mean, it's critical. Like, and not just for the top of the ticket. I'm talking about up and down the ticket, from Congress, governor, school board. I'm trying to think what else is on there. Treasurer, clerks. Oh my gosh, I can't even look at the legislator. Like, it's so important that your vote needs to be out there, and you need to be out there supporting these candidates. These candidates are working hard. They are pushing to make change, because we know that bills will be introduced that will, number one, that will impact our children's education. It will be bills introduced to remove certain things from our children's education. There will be bills introduced to remove certain things from women's health, from women's health rights. Like, they will continue to attack our women's health access to health care. They will continue to fight against us with the voting. We'll talk about that in a minute, because we know that now that's on the ballot. So we need to be telling people, don't vote for that crap. That is voter suppression. And I say this, and I will say this until the day I leave this world. If our vote was not as sacred as it is, why are they investing so much money to keep us from having that right to vote?
So true. So true.
Like, make it make sense.
You got to. I mean, it's done with the arguing. And I see Sean's comment on there. Sean, I'm serious. I've said the same thing, Sean. Like, I mean, I never forget. I was like, get out the damn sandbox. If you're gonna be in the sandbox, start kicking sand in their eyes. Like, start acting like that you start hitting them back. Like, there's a way for us to be able to hit them back, but we're not hitting them back in a negative way that's being nasty, but we're being nasty and saying the facts. That's what you have to do. You have to remind people of the faces of the people who are voting against us and who don't want us to have a right to certain things. Show their faces.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we won't agree on a lot of things, But one thing we agree, like we see injustices happening. You have to vote for people who represent you. You have to vote for people like, I mean, you have a sheriff race here in Omaha, in Douglas County. I don't care how many fish fries you show up to. I don't care how many people you know in North Omaha. I don't care. It's about, is your integrity? Can you really operate the Douglas County Sheriff's Office? What does your record look like? What does your internal affairs record look like? What has been said about you? What cases do you have against you? Like, people got to really start and looking at the facts of different things. Like, I don't care if your friend is black, but then you over here talking about black people with your white friends. Like, come on now, it can't be two ways. Oh, when you see me over here, I'm good, yeah, but over here I'm busting up the kids' heads when I see them on the streets. No, come on now, y'all. Like, you gotta, and that goes for anybody running for office. You gotta be the same both ways. You can't be saying that you one way and then you're not that way. Like, you gotta be genuine about it. And if you get called out, you get called out on it.
That's what's up. For those of you that are listening, the comment that Precious was talking about from Sean McCarthy says, I would like to see the Democrats do the same for Don Bacon, scare tactic ads. I know it goes against the when they go low, we go high argument, but Bacon deserves the same scare treatment that Vargas is getting in the ads. And that's why you're talking about not going ugly low, but speaking facts out here.
Yeah, because go ahead.
I was just going to say another comment you put out there was with another Bacon term, there will be a nationwide ban on abortion, regardless of rape and incest. And with another Bacon term, it will be easier to overturn elections that have been decided by the will of the people. He can go on and on.
They will block so much. Lindsey Graham literally put a bill the day that people are celebrating people being able to get jobs for people who are on insulin to be able to get lower insulin rates. They have this they want to put a national abortion ban. Really? So basically, you're telling now mind you, these same people are now telling the Supreme Court, you didn't do enough. The Supreme Court said that they wanted to make it as a state decision,
which is what they asked for in the first place.
They asked for.
Right.
Now you have Lindsey Graham's old slimy ass coming in saying, oh no, we need to do national and they need to do this. It's wrong. And he does get leadership position if he gets another term. Then he'll sit here and he'll say, oh, I'm bipartisan. I did this, I did that. Man, get him out of there. Send Tony Vargas to DC. Send Don Bacon and Mike Flood, send their asses packing. Send them right back here to Nebraska. Let them go chill with Pete Ricketts with their pensions and all their money. But we need real working people who really believe in working for the people in DC. Because I promise you, y'all, if he gets in there, y'all gonna see so much that's gonna happen. And it's gonna make it, the next 2 years will be nothing of them trying to dismantle everything that has changed since this administration has gotten in office and tried to revamp it from what it was for the 4 years of that man that was in office.
Yeah. Most def. Wanda Lewis says that we need to be educated on the wording. You know how they do it. Also, Christy North says the DCCC has a good commercial, claps back without being nasty. Appreciate your comments in there. And then that one that you were talking about with Mark Manor, he was asking about Bacon getting leadership position if he gets another term. Yes, he will. Really interesting situation there with them because because Tony Vargas is out spending and out canvassing and out knocking on doors, everybody. But Don Bacon is kind of sitting back because he's got all this support. And so that leads me to this situation, this question where, okay, we on here talking to our folks. Our channel is turned into a family discussion about what's going on. So we all kind of on the same page and we're trying to help each other find the wording to battle the battles outside of here. What can we do though now to make sure that these things happen, to get these people in these seats? And I'm talking about boots on the ground. Do we need do we need to set something up where we say, let's talk to 10 family members, let's get people rise to polls, let's come out with
jobs. They got jobs for $25 an hour to canvass.
$25 an hour to canvas. Okay.
An hour to go knock on people's doors to tell them, make sure they're voting on November 8th.
Jobs available.
Jobs available. I've been begging. I literally been like $25 an hour. You
this
make your own.
But look, this is the first I heard you say. I heard of it. So like the word needs to get out.
I done posted it before. I done talked about it.
Did you?
You talked about it on the show before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a few chat charmers interested.
Pick your own schedule. Call me. Inbox me. You interested? Hit me up. Precious@nebraskademocrats.org.
$25 an hour. Hit up Precious.
$25 an hour.
And you can directly affect what's going on here and get paid.
Pick your own hours, knocking doors, talking to voters, getting them engaged. We need them voting up and down the ballot. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not that this is an issue only in Nebraska where we're trying to make sure we get workers. This is a nationwide. For some reason, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm telling y'all, we got the jobs available.
Okay.
We got the money. We want to spend the money. It's simple. You get a turf, you knock doors, you talk to voters, you talk about why it's important, and you don't have to know like every single law and what the statute is. No, you're talking about being passionate. People want real life people. They don't need robots. Tell them why you want them to vote and why you're asking them to make sure they go vote. And then putting the action behind and challenging them to get 5 more people in their family to go vote also.
Right.
Just to know, early voting starts. So everybody say, oh, November 8th is when voting starts. No, y'all. October 3rd, on Monday, early ballots start getting mailed.
Yeah, we're in it now.
October 11th, you can start voting in person at the Election Commission office. So if you're in Douglas County, anywhere in the state, you can start voting in person at your Election Commission office on October 11th. Amy, yes, we have texting. We have text banks. Anything, y'all, if y'all want to get activated, hit me up. I promise you. There's so many different organizations doing work, but if you want to get paid, and there's other organizations, but if you want to get paid, yes. We geared toward, we need people out on the doors. We have the social media part. We have the emails. If you've seen the emails, I just had to cancel a lot of unsubscribes in my emails because I've been getting emails tons and tons and tons. We got that part. We need people actually going out there talking to folks. We just and we have to. So if you're interested, hit me up on my email, precious@nebraskademocrats.org. We need serious people. And I'm gonna tell you this now. Don't say you want to do it and you're not doing it. And I say that to anybody. Because trust and believe, Precious checks the information, because this information you got to enter to know that you hit those boxes, those houses. So don't come scamming me to get the money. I need you to do the work.
Yeah, no, I don't think we had that kind of group around here. Erica,
no, not saying not saying to the group. I'm just saying it's in general. I said that to anybody, because it's not just a chat to anybody, because I need to make sure it's important. This is important, y'all. We have a ballot initiative next week. On the October 11th. You will be able to go to the Thompson Alumni Center, which is off of Dodge, 67th and Dodge, and from 1:30 to 4:30, they will have a public hearing on the voter ID. Now, mind you, I still don't understand why the public hearing is coming after the fact that it's already on the ballot, because now we got to convince the voters not to vote for it. But again, they'll have a public hearing on voter ID. Then from 6 to 9, they'll have a public hearing on minimum wage. So that's a full day of listening to testimony. But again, at the end of the day, it's on the ballot. So what we need to be doing is telling people to make sure they're voting against voter suppression, because that's what it is. It's not voter ID, it's voter suppression. Right. Call it what it is. And then voting for the minimum wage increase, which will increase the minimum wage in Nebraska to $15 an hour,
which is still not enough.
That's a crazy that we trying to get an increase of just 15. We'll have to get that information up definitely in the chat so we can get those dates and times again on that, and be able to go speak on it and get people's heads wrapped around. Vote no on voter ID. Vote yes on the minimum wage for sure. I'm going to jump into the chat real quick. We're coming up on that 8 o'clock hour, second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. First Sky Omaha Radio. Yep. And we do have Kimara Snipes is sitting in the wings here too.
Bring her in.
We're bringing it. Yeah, we're bringing it in just a second. I want to jump into the chat real quick, and let's jump into the chat. Also, Omar Valentine says, "Can some of these $25 jobs be geared towards social media?" Okay, so we already answered that question. Email communications, you already guys got that going on. Miss Erica Felt asked, "Can I do phone or text work?" Definitely sounds like she can. So Miss Erica Felt hit up Precious directly and then get that going. Sean McCarthy says the main thing, and you're touching on repeatedly, Precious, is making the midterms personal for LGBT individuals who have gotten off the activism wagon after gay marriage was made the law of the land. Ooh, call them out on that one. They need to know that decision could be reversed as easy as Roe versus Wade. Woo!
Yes.
Yeah.
Heavy. Leia Keister says she's been doing some volunteer work knocking doors. People are fired up. She says she met someone last week that switched to dim and put a patty sign because of how radicalized the GOP has become. That's crazy. Man. Wanda Lewis is talking about ballot measure 432.
That's the voter suppression bill.
Okay.
There you go.
And Leah Keister says, I think there are more folks like him. We need to acknowledge them and get them to the polls for sure. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and bring in let's have both our ladies in today. Kimara Snipes in the house.
Guten Morgen.
Good morning to
Hey,
you.
top of the morning.
We are now seeing what's good in the hood and politics with P at the same time.
Hey.
Wow.
Both of them.
Look at that Nona and Sona representation up in here.
Hey, we call it East Side now. It's all East Side.
Up in here. East Omaha.
Side, that's what's up. How are you doing this morning, Miss Kim? Are you over at the headquarters?
I am at the infamous headquarters, Scooters. You know, my opportunity to support a Black-owned business. I will come up out of South Omaha to do that.
Let me tell you something. I ran into Mr. Julian Young yesterday over in that area, and we had a nice talk about how we can get First Sky Omaha business side straight, because that brother's got some serious business acumen, and he's doing really good things with some consultation and helping young Black business out for sure. I told him that we've been, ever since the Mine and Soul days, we have made the headquarters. We call it the headquarters. Me and Sharif Loaru used to have meetings there every single week at that Scooters on 30th in Ames. And he told me the story about it being there, why he chose it there, how Scooters was all fired up about not having it over there. They thought some mess was going to happen if he did it. He did it. There's never been an incident over at that spot. It's been the meeting spot, the meeting place for all of us. The week that he opened, two West Side Scooters got hit, and he said Scooters came back and apologized. We was worried about y'all on the North Side, and we got hit on the West Side.
Can I say something that's funny? So somebody said to me, because I tell people this, and I know I shouldn't say this. I said I have two headquarters. They said, "What's that?" I said, "So in the daytime it's Scooters, and at nighttime it's Johnny T's." I said it's all the same. It depends on what time it is. If I say if you're gonna meet at the headquarters to get some coffee real quick, then you're like, "Oh, coffee." I'm like, Johnny T's don't serve coffee. We're gonna go down to Scooters.
I love this spot. It's a great place. I hate working from home, and it provides me with a hard cutoff. When I close my computer here, I'm done. But also, if you're familiar with like your top 5, I'm a woo, and I love people, and I love seeing people. I love networking. I ended up doing the Own the Pond thing just because I seen Myron here at Scooters, so it also brings opportunities. So yeah, and Julian has actually helped me with my consulting business. So I feel you on that, and I'm doing all right. So
that's what's up.
Good.
We got Woo Woo Wednesday going on with Women's Wednesday right here. Vicky Young says the official office. That's right, man. That's
man.
Already.
Good morning to you, Vicky Young. Miss Kimara Snipes.
Everybody in Scooters.
Yeah, it's real.
Everybody.
That's why we used to do that. Once a week, we'd be there having that meeting, and that's all the connections. Everything came from people coming on through, and a lot of times people just come in to see who's there, what's going on, and hang out for a bit.
Community.
So yeah, man. So I can't wait till we can kind of get back to doing some of those meetings in there. Wanda Lewis says that at Johnny T's, the truth comes out.
That truth potion in you.
What you do is hit Johnny T's for that wine meeting the night before, and then you get up the next day and recategorize everything that was said in order for you to say it very business-like the next day as Scooters.
I'm laughing at Erica. She didn't know it was the old Spalding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 years of seeing y'all talk about Johnny T's and realize it's okay. Where I used to spend Friday nights decades back. That's funny. Von Chapman says, "Good morning, Precious. How do you explain people of color working against their own best interest and that of the community at large? Are they being paid or maybe receiving other considerations? Are you seeing a lot of that kind of stuff going on? First of all,
You mean us working against each other?
Yeah,
we got a few folks working against us, but
is the money given?
I don't know what I look here. I don't know what their financial status is because I only worry about mine. Look, I don't worry about nobody else's pockets. But I will say that some of our ancestors will be ashamed of the way that some of us treat each other in the presence of others. So you out here screaming, Fannie Lay. When you look, Kimber know where I'm going. When you out here screaming, Fannie Lou Hamer and Shirley Chisholm, let me tell you something. Shirley Chisholm and Fannie Lou Hamer fought for the fight that fought for me to have the right to do what I'm doing today. And anybody that screams their name and then attacks someone who's doing that, you working against the whole stat. You working against everything that we stand for. But again, I don't know what you getting paid to do, but I know what I get paid to do. So again, it ain't my business.
Fannie Lou Hamer is one of my all-time heroes. Punch yourself in the face. You don't know who she is. Go find out.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Kimber said, huh?
I'm just over here in thought. Y'all
hey, let us know. Let us know.
Just the past few weeks, since actually, starting to follow this ARPA money, I've just learned so much, and I just realized that one, if you're involved in this business or this field or this space of advocacy, and everybody your friend, I feel like something's wrong because I have learned since I've started asking all these questions that people don't like questions, and a lot of them are elected officials, and it's just it's a sad state of affairs. There's a lot going on in this city, and it seems like when you start trying to figure it out, people don't want you to figure it out. I've had a lot of, originally we want to talk about Southside Terrace. That's what we were talking about this week. And I went to the event last week, the $50 million announcement and this and that and this and that. And I just keep having this overwhelming sense of just exclusion and just being lied to. And so I don't like it. And it's for me, it's been a matter of figuring out what my next steps are, because politics is dirty. It is scary, and many know that I have been consulting on the sheriff's race. Greg Gonzalez and Kathy Belcastro Gonzalez have been friends of mine for years. When it comes to this community policing, like I have asked Omaha Police Department on a few occasions to give me a definition, not just Omaha Police Department. I asked Chief Schmaderer himself, give me a definition of what community policing is in Omaha, Nebraska. Because nobody has a standard definition, because every community is different, and I can't get one. And the only person I can say that I have seen actively do it all the time is Kathy, and y'all got rid of her and treated her horribly, right? And that goes into, I'm sorry, pause, you was getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I do. I want to give people a little context. If those that you don't know, Brother Gonzalez is running for sheriff. And seems to be, as far as I'm concerned, one of the only viable candidates doing that. His wife, Miss Gonzalez, is the one who just sued the police department and Schmatter and them for discriminating against her and won, and got a settlement. And I just read in the paper this morning that she just got her police credentials back as well today. So, those are people that you've been your friends. You said, Miss Snipes.
Oh yeah. So don't forget, like I'm involved in neighborhoods in South Omaha, and we do National Night Out, which is about supporting and helping relationships between the police and the community. And y'all know that, or maybe you don't know. So they're South family in South Omaha. And they were involved with Jimmy Wilson, the murder of Jimmy Wilson, who was a police officer. And so there's a lot of tension between people in the police in South Omaha, a whole lot of it. Even recently, in the last couple of years, I have had to intervene with people who were in that van 20 plus years ago in the police, just because of ongoing tension, right? And Kathy has always come and talked to, as we know, the OGs and all stuff like that. She's always done it. And not because she's trying to get some information from them or anything like that, just so they know, like, You know what I'm saying? I'm here. You can talk to me. It is what it is. And so when people make that effort, I notice it, I see it, and I go off of my spirit and how I feel around people as well. And that's just my girl. And so I rock with her. I went to one of the days of the trial, and I was just like, wow, I cannot believe how just corrupt. And it's scary, y'all. That is scary. Because if you're treating the police like that, you already know how you're treating us. And me and Greg and Kathy have talked about that. You see how y'all getting treated and you are the police? Imagine how they doing us.
I'm kind of curious. Can you give us more insight into that story? Because we talked about that story, but you know, I feel like there's some things that weren't reported in the Omaha World Herald, and somebody who seemed to have more firsthand insight.
Basically, it was so much. I wish I had my book with me because I was taking notes that day too.
I was gonna say, don't pull that book out. I need the elevator pitch. Don't pull that book out. I know how you do. You be reading for the next 20 minutes.
Thorough.
And so I went to one day. There were things like, so when the deputy chief position came open, they tested all the candidates, right? Kathy and all the candidates took this test. She ranked number 1, right? In the trial, they're talking about how I believe it was Scott Gray. One of them went back and asked the people who administered the test to rescore it, use the other way. You know what I'm saying? And they did, and she still ranked first, right? They had this thing where they were investigating overtime, right? They investigated her overtime. They had this list of all these police officers, and they had police officers who served way more overtime than her. They didn't get investigated. They said, well, why'd you do it? Well, the city finance department wanted us to do it, but only her? You know, little stupid small stuff that makes no sense. But here's the thing. When you look at things like that and actions like that, I can't help but think about how it pertains to everything else. Because if you're acting like this in this situation, you're going to act like that in another situation. Point blank. Point blank.
I want to jump in the chat real quick. Good question for both of you guys from Vicky Young. What's the definition of community policing? Precious, can you go first?
Man, my definition of community policing I wish we could go back to what it used to be when police officers could live in the community that they police, or the community that live in the community that they actually patrol or serve, and then receiving discount. But I think community policing goes back to having the community relationship. I mean, we do have some that have a good relationship, but again, police the community, but not in a way that is how can I say? Remember when, like 2 years ago, when it was like, we want the police down here during Omaha Day? That's not community policing. No. You were trying to do scare tactics toward people. You know, community policing is just police, like literally just being a part of the community and being in a positive light, not trying to look for something negative, being transparent. But again, I say community policing needs to have police that live in the communities that they serve and be able to know how to build that relationship and be able to establish good relationships with neighborhoods. I mean, we do have some, it's crazy how I used to have these good police officers come to the neighborhood meetings, and then I started to see them, and I was like, I was out here capping for you. Yeah. You out here doing this? Like, let me delete your phone.
We need that list. Shout out to Senator Trump McKinney.
Let's move on. We need that. What's that list called?
The Brady's list, I believe.
Brady list. Yeah.
Giglio, yeah.
Miss Snipes, I know that you have with my knowledge of you and how you have been working with the police in the past, me and you have had personal conversations about what we feel about these things. What is your definition of community policing?
Here's the thing. I agree with everything Precious was saying. I will also say that it's not up to me to come up with the definition. This is the opportunity for the police department, and even within Omaha, Nebraska, you have different communities. So community policing where I'm at right now is going to look different than when it looks like, where I live.
Oh, true.
This is where the police and the people in the neighborhood get together and you come up with that definition of what you need in that specific community. But I agree with Precious too. Like, there are police officers who I sat up there and watched on that stand who I have capped for. And I'm like, wow. And y'all out here just
wilding out.
And it's the culture of it, right? We can't even call it a race thing. Tony Connor is not a white man. You know what I'm saying? This isn't even a race thing. This is a cultural in this police department. And Chief Schmatter, and I'm going to say it, and I'm covered by the blood of Jesus, baby. I'm going to say he has way too much power. Way too much. And people are scared to say it because look at what happens, right? But we can't do this no more.
But look, we said we need to another time talk more about the power that he got, because I was under the impression that because of people like Tony Connor, we've been telling that story about him firing police officers that got rehired back under him because of the police because of the union pressure.
I was at the forum the other night with Hansen and Greg Gonzalez. And Aaron Hansen made a statement, so it's public information, about a complaint that was filed against him and how the chief exonerated him, not internal affairs, the chief of police.
Wow, that's par for the course, though. They police themselves. They so-called investigate their own selves. Jumping back into the chat real quick, Wanda Lewis. This is a director job. I'm gonna ask you, Precious. Tony Connor wants to go ahead and break your fan out when you hear that name. You got Tony Connor wants the donation back from the police department. He doesn't really want it back. He just wants to put Greg in a negative light. Tony has a lot of nerve, especially his own domestic violence situation that they tried to keep quiet. Wanda Lewis said it. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna keep it 100. And this is my political strategy that I'm thinking in my head. And Kimara was in the room. The other night, Hansen made a comment and said that he hadn't decided on his number 2 yet. He hasn't made it public. And he said, I could make it public now, but things could change, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think he's trying to make Tony Connor his number 2. But the reason why he can't say it publicly is because of this domestic issue, that violent issue going on.
Wow.
I'm gonna just keep it 100. I don't care. I don't put nothing past nobody, because number one, they both can. If once this happens, they both retire, and they both receive a pension. Now I don't know if Tony could retire at this time, because I think you have to be a certain age in the police department to be able to receive your full pension. See, I researched this stuff, but I know Hansen will be able to collect the pension from the city, because he'll be retired. But my thing is, it's something that because why won't you announce your number 2? Everybody else is announcing it, but I have an issue with this too. Anybody that takes that job, that means Wayne Hudson gets demoted if neither one of them make them his number 2.
Ooh,
am I right or wrong, Kimara? Because he won't be the number. He won't be the number 2 anymore. If they choose another number 2. Kimara said, "Don't ask me." I keep it all out. I put it all out there.
We got somebody messing with me here in scooters.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all.
I put it all out there. So I'm still trying to figure out who Hansen's number 2 is, and I want to know, because number 1, he was like, "Well, I can make this decision today, but I don't."
Mm-hmm. It'll be Wayne Hudson.
I don't know. But I don't know where he's asking for this donation back from. But my thing is, from who?
Right, Brianna.
Nah, he ain't gonna run for that seat, baby.
Brianna's over on YouTube. She says that Tony Connors is gonna run for Justin Wayne's seat in the legislature in 2 years.
2 years. Well, just let you know, Precious gonna put her name on that for that seat.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Put it out there.
Hold up. Are you putting it out there right now?
Tony Connor put his name on that ballot. Precious McKesson gonna put her name on that ballot.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Now, I will run for that seat in 2 years because it's in my district.
Okay, so wait a minute. Are you saying you're going to run in that seat in 2 years, or are you saying you would only do it if Tony Connor does it?
But like I said, if his name come up there and he put his name on there, Precious gonna put her name out there. I ain't about to say Precious running for that seat.
Right. Gotta clarify.
Because I will tell you.
Because let me tell you, I've been and I have been thinking about running for that seat. I'm not even gonna keep sugarcoated. I've lived in this district all my life. I've lived in this district since 1993. This has been in my district. I've lived in this district, went to school in this district, worked in this district, and my parents have paid taxes in this district. Come on now. Tony better go somewhere. He may not even live there. That's his marital home, so he'll be divorced by then unless he gets the house in the divorce.
Oh my God!
Shots.
Hey, just want to remind people, this first Sky Omaha, baby. We'll say it. We will say it. Let me tell you.
Look, Brianna, you don't make my blood pressure go up, girl.
Look. I want to say that Brother Justin Wayne, Senator Justin Wayne, puts respect on his name, was on. We asked him about his succession plan for that seat, and he kept on saying to her. But he wouldn't say who. So we just gonna put it out there, like Carolyn Jack said, with two hearts. Run, precious.
Run with the wind.
Miss Erica said, "You better run." For sure. Let me go ahead and wrap. Let me go ahead and get going on this. It's 8:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we have both Precious McKesson on. Are you ready? You got to go.
I'm gonna let Kimara have her time because this is her time for I always want her to be able to say what's good in the hood. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate y'all so much. Kimara, hold it down as usual.
Hold it down.
Appreciate
let me tell you, it's been a week, baby. It's been a week. But again, y'all remember we got 41 days left until the election. Make sure y'all doing y'all due diligence and making sure. And if y'all looking for these jobs, hit me up. $25 an hour. Let's get out and remember our vote is so powerful, because if our vote was not powerful, they would not be investing money to keep us from having that vote. So make sure you vote. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Peace out.
Bye, Kim.
That's what's happening, man. Precious McKesson's always putting it down as she usually does. That's what's happening. Yes. Says, thanks, Precious. Whitney Richardson says, shout out to the women. How you doing, Miss Richardson? Thanks for joining us. And yeah, now that she's gone, we're gonna talk about her a little bit. We're gonna try to get her to run for that seat, bro.
Hey, we need the right ones in the seats. She's one of them. She's one of them.
In the chat, real quick, Wanda Lewis says the police department wants that $25,000 they donated to Grace campaign back. That's what he's trying to get back. Tony Connor's trying to get back.
People in hell on ice water.
There it is.
There you go.
Wanda Lewis said Wayne needs to rethink who he supports. Looking at that comment.
Yeah, we can have a whole conversation about that.
Yeah. Pops also says, I agree with Precious 1,000%. Having police live in the area they police would promote so much more understanding on so many different levels. Okay. Yeah. Also, Ms. Erica Fell said community policing doesn't guarantee less abuse. In Portland, Officer Jackson has a statue on the major boulevard in what used to be the historical black neighborhood, and he was a very abusive black officer. However, in the big picture, community policing shows to be better. There could be there's going to be abuses in the situation too, power abuses and all that kind of mess as well, and people that think they know somebody because they grew up with them, and that paints how they treat them. I mean, I can see that kind of stuff happening too, but I can see it very much more so being that if you come from that neighborhood, you're gonna care for that neighborhood way better.
I think you also have to address cultural issues, because I've seen that same thing with South Omaha. I've had some conversations with some people from the neighborhood about people from the neighborhood who became police officers, and like the attitude shifted. So I think that overall, I think it would be good for them to come from the community, absolutely. But you still have to have some sort of training when it comes to the cultural issues that exist, because don't forget, this organization has existed since slavery, right?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot has changed, especially within a police department that doesn't really even want like cultural sensitivity trainings and things like that. So
Yep.
Yeah, I've read some actual anecdotes from officers who've gone through, police training departments, and some of the videos that they're showing, like there's a reason why you have officers shooting at, black targets in the gun range. Like that's the type of culture that still exists, and showing videos of officers getting killed in traffic stops, and you wonder why officers are so tense during traffic stops, because all they show in training is officers getting killed in traffic stops. And that's it's definitely a culture that needs to be changed, and just having cops from the neighborhood is not going to change that.
Just if you're just joining us now, it's 8:24 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. We're sitting here with Kimara Snipes. Miss Kimara Snipes, put some respect on her name. We are doing What's Good in the Hood. She's over at the headquarters right now, 30th in 30th and Ames. The scooters on 30th and Ames, and that's what's going on, because that's where it all happens. So that's what's going on. Miss Erica Felt in the chat says a point was made the other day: when TIF is used in a neighborhood, The schools suffer since there's no tax dollars going to the schools from the property. Made me think about where so many of these TIF projects are. TIF Alley, like we
That's
like to call
interesting.
it. Kimara, can you comment on that a little bit? Because you in both worlds.
There's the guy Brian who used to work on Heath Mellow's campaign. I can't even think of his last name right now. Brian Smith. Y'all know him?
Oh yeah, Brian Smith. Yeah,
he can break this down for you in a way that is layman's terms. I do know that funding gets delayed that goes towards the district because of TIF. When you talk to different people, even people who are progressive, you hear some different opinions about that. But overall, my thing with TIF, again, just goes back to how we're defining like blighted areas and again, where these projects are. When y'all talk about the TIF Alley, I think it's ridiculous. And I was reading an article the other day, and I think it was somewhere in California, and they were using TIF, and they were using in a really great way within a community that was an actual marginalized community. I just remember thinking to myself, wow, like, damn, why can't we do that here? But y'all, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, here's what I'm thinking about the situation though, because you hipped us to this. There's a budget. There's a huge budget, almost $1 billion a year budget that OPS has access to. I don't think that the taxes from the TIF money getting, when people use TIF money and the taxes get delayed, I don't think that's an issue. I think there's plenty of money in the situation. I don't think that programs and stuff are getting jacked up because there's no TIF tax money coming in, because they still get $1 billion a year. So the question I need to know is, where is that money going to all the time?
And I just want to throw in the tax levy situation, because that's something we were also asking about in that whole situation, was the tax levy.
So I'm gonna try to break this down for you as well as I understand the tax levy. Basically, a city, any sort of government sort of place. I was writing down my thoughts about the tax levy.
Okay.
So the city, the state, Omaha Public Schools, anyone who gets like property taxes, they set a budget, right? And so then I'm just trying to show you like the line to help it make sense. So the assessor notifies all the agencies of the estimated evaluation for their territory. So they'll notify OPS, they'll notify Douglas County, they'll notify the city, the state, whoever. So then OPS or the county or whoever, they determine how much money will be generated, and if it will cover their budget. So once they cover their budget, then they need to determine how much at the current rate it is, that tax levy, how much, money is going to be generated again, will it cover that budget? So they'll either raise it, they'll keep it the same, or they'll lower it because of that budget. So when property valuations go up, your home values, et cetera, most agencies will keep the rate the same. But even though, let's say they keep the tax rate the same, that doesn't mean that the actual taxes aren't going up. But again, that applies to city, county, natural resources districts will set one, MCC, OPS, all these different government organizations, not just OPS. But I also want to be mindful of the fact that OPS only gets money from property taxes, like the city, they have a sales tax and things like that. So I don't have the super in-depth definition of tax levies, but that's always the way I've seen it. But I will say that, you'll hear politicians say stuff like, well, I didn't raise the tax rate. I didn't raise the tax rate, but that can still be kind of misleading, because that doesn't mean the taxes didn't actually get raised. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How's this apply? Miss Erica Felt in the chat says, to me, it's an issue when I receive a postcard that my taxes are going up due to OPS. And when I look at North High School versus the new high school out west that has a YMCA in it, so she getting taxed. She said her taxes are going up, and how does that relate to the tax levy that you're talking about right now?
So boy, Erica, don't do me like this. So this is
hey, it's I don't okay. know. It's okay if you got to go read.
I don't know. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is my understanding of tax levies. And keep in mind, when I got on school board, boom, COVID happened. So everything that I was researching kind of shifted. And as I was getting off, it was kind of not even getting back to normal, But that's when I started kind of like being able to focus on certain things like the tax levy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I know, Erica. So, look, I'm not scared to say I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we have
It's a lot.
This is a discussion show. We're here to discuss and figure it out with each other. That's
right. And keep in mind, again, Omaha's a city. I mean, OPS is a city. I say it's a city.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to understand. And the problem is a lot of people don't know, but they won't say it. And then they get into these positions and they sit up there and they just kind of end up going with the flow because they don't know. They don't want to ask. You know what I'm saying? So the people who have been there for a while, who probably been making the wrong decisions anyway, still end up making the decisions. Or you end up in a situation where if you have a weak board, you know, whatever you're governing can end up being the governor. You know what I'm saying? And then with the chokehold on the board as well. Shouts out to Bree too and Manny, because they let me come into Fabric Lab last night and I had a good old vent session. So I just want to say thank you very much.
That's
nice,
what's up.
Nice.
Hey, I want to jump into the chat real quick. Von Chapman says the problem is priority and just who establishes those priorities. For sure. Brother Valentine also says, given all these conversations about issues, projects, and proposals affecting North Omaha, where in North Omaha could a resident walk into to get this information and talk to someone knowledgeable? Let's think about that for a minute while I read Miss Wanda Lewis's comment, which she says, I think residents should get TIF on smaller level, maybe $100,000 for renovation of a home improvement. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Sheila, I always got to say that every time. The city can get back in 20 years when the value of the homes go up. That's a good idea.
I was looking at, I saw Bree's response to Omar, the Fabric Lab, and that's great, and I have no problem with that and agree. But I will say that when you establish, again, your neighborhood associations, and then you also have a strong alliance, that should be a regular and consistent place where you are going to get this information. But it's not just getting the information, it's also practicing relational organizing and making sure you're also sharing that information. We should have these communication networks set up within the alliances with every government office there is. MUD will come to SONA. You know what I'm saying? Roger Garcia, my county commissioner, is coming to SONA. Vinny Palermo, he come, I guess, when I get in his butt, you know, but anyway. But this is what it should be. You know what I'm saying? And then we don't have to be confused. You don't have to have Kimara coming on here trying to break down a tax levy to you when she doesn't even have the full understanding of it, right? Because these people are communicating with us. We're able to ask questions, and then we know. People make us feel bad because we don't know. When it's really their fault, we don't even know because you're not communicating with us the way you should be.
Well, and to go further than that, it's their fault that they don't know enough about it. And the people in higher positions sometimes don't even know. And we can't even trust that they know, and we just leave the information to them and they can act right with it. So now we got to go know.
We got to get more comfortable with saying we don't know and being able to ask questions. We have to get more comfortable with that. There are a bunch of people out here don't know. I can't tell you how true, even though it's cliche when they say you're probably, if you have a question 2 to 1, a bunch of other people have that same question. That's not just cliche. It's very, very true. But most people typically will not just ask.
Yeah,
there you go. And we all get left in the dark for it.
Yep.
I did want to touch on something before we get out of here that was brought up, that you had some, you kind of chimed up like, yeah, I want to talk about this on Wednesday. And it kind of was with the TIF situation as far as the city library situation. I don't know, Paul, what you were thinking.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, well, it's 8:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're coming up on the end of the situation here. I wanted to let her have the last word, but yes, thank you for reminding me. You did say we were talking about the fact that they are getting $400 million more than they were getting.
400,000.
I mean, my zeros are off this week. Yeah, they got a $400,000 more that they got to get to tear this building down. My question is what company is getting this money, and what are the ties behind the scenes there? That's the question for another time. But when we mentioned that before, you said don't let me get started, and then you started to talk about it, and you say we'll just bring it back up on Wednesday. You forget?
Now I'm trying to remember. There's so much going on in this city, you know. But I will say this: I was downtown, and this probably has nothing to do with it. But I was downtown getting ready to get on I was downtown in front of the library. And I was looking at it and I said, you know what? just looking at this library is so symbolic of the issues in this city. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the library, whether it's the streetcar, whether it's the bike lane, whether it's the fire, whether it's anything, this library is symbolic of it. Communication is piss poor in this city. Our leaders do not listen to people like they're supposed to. Again, I go back to when I told city council, you know what I'm saying? People, the only surprises we like come in a box with a bow on it. They will not communicate with us in the way that we need. I went to the meetings in South Omaha for ARPA. The man from Olsen was there. And I told him, I said, you know what? I can't even have a conversation with you right now because I'm extremely frustrated. The RFP they used to choose you said that you are responsible for talking to neighborhoods. I'm president of a neighborhood alliance. I get to run around every single time I send y'all an email. I'm frustrated. I can't even have a conversation with you right now. You know what he said to me? What he should have said was, you know what? I apologize. I'd love to talk. He said, thank you for coming down today. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on in this city. There is not enough communication. So we as people need to get our neighborhood associations going. These are places where we can organize and have these discussions and hold these people accountable. We elect them. They are making choices for us every single day. We have a right to be. I've got something good for y'all for what's good in the hood. So
Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado in the chat, good morning to you, said too much self-dealing by our city leaders. I heard that.
There you go. There you go.
What is it that you got us in there? Give us your last word.
What's good?
We were talking about these ballot initiatives. We talked about the scare tactics that people use, but another tactic that they use is confusion. That's what happened with affirmative action when it was on the ballot, right? This is the reason why Nebraska no longer has affirmative action. So as we're talking about voter ID and raise the wage, don't forget that I work for Nebraska Civic Engagement Table, where all we focus on is increasing voter turnout across the whole state of Nebraska. I run our organizing department. I run our organizer school where I train community organizers across the state as well. 3 things. 1, we have some literature that we have created, and this will help you not be confused. Yes, vote for 433. There's information on here that gives you information about the initiative. I'm sitting down here at Scooters today. You can come get some, and you can also share it. You can read it and understand. Vote for 433. We do not want 432, which is the voter ID. There's information on here that you can read, understand, and share. Again, I'm down here. You can come get some. I even got some car decals that you can put on your car. Your voice matters in Nebraska. Be a voter. And the beautiful thing is it's nonpartisan. We all can't walk into spaces and always be touting the party that we belong to. But this is information that is also nonpartisan. Yes, created by Nebraska Civic Engagement Table. I'm a director there. Voting is pretty much just what I do. So I wanted to share that. Again, I am down here at Scooters today. You can come and get some information for me that you can also go and share. But I just want to challenge you to at least share it with at least 2 other people. That's relational organizing, y'all. We are our own best friends when it comes to really engaging people in these conversations. So I want to eliminate the confusion, and we have some documents that can help you do that.
Appreciate that. Go down to headquarters, check her out, pick up some documents. And 2 things, relational organizing is something that you hit us to. I'm looking into, and it's definitely something that's shaping how we do things here. The other thing that I want to shape here is that thing that you told us a while back about how your family did. Your family back in the day used to vote on everything, sit at the kitchen table,
we still do.
And vote on things. And we're going to start implementing some of that stuff here. We're trying to figure out how to get polling happening during the show so that we can put a question out there and have people vote on certain things that we're talking about too, because we all know that with voting comes action. And we want to be an action-based group. So behind the scenes, after another time, not during the show, me and hopefully I can sit down with you. We can talk about those 2.
Yeah, first guy needs to be a partner of the table. And that being said, one last, I'm so sorry, but I'm also putting together a statewide coalition of community organizers. So if anyone is interested in that, community organizers, I have some organizers I've trained in Grand Island and South Sioux, and I want them to have a space to meet with other organizers, talk about organizing, and just be a support for each other as well. So if you're interested, you can also hit me up.
There you go. Ms. Erica Fell says, love it. I can't get there. Is there a graphic or even a pic of those flyers so I can share them online or in the chat?
I will get you something. I will share it on First Sky. And First Sky needs just become a partner. That way we can always have this sort of just going on. And we do messaging, we do data, we do organizing work, all of that. So
Let's
yeah,
definitely talk about that. Thank you so much. Leah Keister says, thank you so much. The civic engagement website is incredible. I love the resources it has. I'm gonna go, buddy got that address for us. Let's go ahead and drop that in the chat, and definitely go check that website out. And yeah, let's talk about us becoming members and doing what we do. So appreciate it. Thank you so much, Miss Snipes. What's good in the hood with Kimara Snipes? Put some respect on her name. Thank you for joining us down there at the headquarters.
So engagement.
Hey,
that's what's up.
There you go.
We'll see you next week. You have a good one.
Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. That's what it is. Miss Kimara Snipes, put some respect on her name. Man, it was Women's Wednesday today. That's what I'm talking about. Great
Love
guest. Really, really thank her, and I think Precious as well. Man. I'm glad you did too, Miss Erica Fell. She said, I'm so glad I set an alarm to wake up for you women. That's what's going on. We need the voices, and we need to celebrate the fact that we got people that are out here doing the work, putting the work in, man, on top of their regular jobs. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like this is what they do for a living. So we really appreciate them very much for coming through. Let's take a quick break, man, and jump back into a couple of lightning round things happening before we end the show. And Haps coming up too. Get your Haps together. We'll definitely have a Haps today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you, the chat chimers, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you. Want to give a shout out to Star Trek Rich and the Weatherized crew for always holding us down and having our back. And we got things going on. Yeah, man, Squad. We got things going on with them coming up. A roundtable action that we're going to be engaging with the readers soon. So stay tuned for that. I know we've been talking about it, but it's taking a little bit to get together, but we'll get it together. So we'll get down with that Disinvested series. Go to the reader website and check that out. See some of those articles. It's basically deep dives on everything that we've been talking about here. And now it's time to discuss it and try to come up with some solutions and things like that for what's going on. So in the meantime, between time, we're going to keep on talking about the issues here. Really appreciate everybody that's jumping into the chat and everybody that has shared the show. Pops call that a hypnotic track by yours truly, Buddi3 Da Gawd right there. Pops.
Thank you kindly.
Yep. And Pops also said he loves him some Women's Wednesday. That's what I'm talking about. Women. That's what's up. Yeah. If we get our stuff together here, man, we most definitely gonna put that clip on.
Man, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Yeah, we gotta find that.
Whitney Richardson says Sister Snipes would make a great mayor. She's so brilliant. Yeah, she would. For sure.
Didn't you run for mayor?
You run for mayor, yeah. So that's what's up, man. Mayor Sanchez says them ladies are some bad mamma jammas. Okay, that's what's up. Speaking of Whitney Richardson, I'm glad you're on here. We want to talk a little bit to you about bringing on some of your expertise as well. I know you deep dive into politics in the way that we are trying to do here a little bit more. Love when you contribute to the conversation. So I'm glad that you're on here contributing in the chat. And let's have you on again soon and have some more discussions for sure. Coming up on Friday, we have Dave Pontos that'll be on, coming to talk about that position. And I really want to hear from him right now, too, because we just learned that the position that he's running from, which is county attorney, is it county attorney or city attorney?
County.
Okay. That he would have a lot of power over whether or not Ernest Jackson gets released if he was in that seat, in that position.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear how much power, first of all, and reiterate what his intentions are, and talk to him a little bit more. So if you have questions for Dave Pontos, if you know who he is from the previous shows, definitely get your questions together. Get ready for him on Friday. He's coming through, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So with that said, let's move on. It's 8:45 right now, man. We only got 15 minutes left in the show. Show's zooming by today. Let's do a little lightning round of some things we wanted to talk about, Buddy, if you don't mind.
Yeah, really quickly knocking these last stories out and kind of touching base again. It has been confirmed. We did talk about the proposal and the ask from Cox Contracting Company based out of Council Bluffs for an extra $400,000 to demolish the W. Dale Clark Library, and that has since been approved by City Council earlier this week, pushing their total to just north of $1 million. So, yeah. Well,
we have to remember that. I said to tear a building down. We got to remember that with the county. If we ever have a county contract, just go in real ridiculously low. We can get the contract, and then we'll come after the contract and be like, we need what everybody else was asking for.
and then some. So yes. Initially, to Paul's point, I think Cox Contracting was like the lowest bid, but $22. Right. But now they're coming back and asking for another number that will actually make them the fourth highest bid or something like that. So yeah. It's ridiculous, but we will continue to watch this whole situation play out.
It's real gangster. To me, it's like we can do it for $20,000. Give us $5,000 down, and then they give them the money, and then they're like, now that we're in it, we won't swing their wrecking ball until you give us $400,000.
Work doesn't start till we get our money. Yeah, man. So we'll definitely look out for that situation. Also happening across the country. The EPA made an announcement on Saturday that they will create a new office dedicated to dedicating more than 200 EPA staff members and across 10 regions to deliver on President Biden's commitment to advance environmental justice. A new environmental justice office will look at civil rights in underserved communities and environmental impacts on underserved communities. President Biden and I, says Vice President Kamala Harris, have been clear. We must ground our work to address the climate crisis and our greatest environmental challenges in justice and equity. The establishment of a new office dedicated to advancing environmental justice and civil rights at EPA will ensure the lived experiences of underserved communities are essential to our decision making while supporting community-driven solutions. So hopefully some good comes out of that office. We'll definitely continue to watch out for the work that they do, especially in light of some official recognitions of the impacts on racism and racial disparities across the country. So
word up.
And definitely looking out for that. But if there will be any barriers to environmental justice and climate crisis plans and things like that, it will be the Grand Old Party having their way and getting some major victories in these midterm elections. Which if things go to according to Kevin McCarthy, who's a House Minority Leader, who announced last week that the GOP, the Grand Old Party, has a whole plan for some of the changes that they would like to make, that Precious kind of addressed and alluded to, including changing or attacking Roe v. Wade. There's actually 100 different bills that are proposed or planned to be introduced directly addressing abortion only. So 100 bills, more than 100 bills actually addressing abortion alone, if the Grand Old Party gets their way in midterm elections. Also, a few economic changes, and even some investigations are being promised. So, definitely looking out for the script of the Grand Old Party to continue operating as it has. So we definitely got to get out there in these midterm elections and make sure that they can't follow through.
Very true. Very true.
In other news, as a lot of our chat chimers have touched on, coming out of Alameda County in California, nearly 50 sheriff deputies have lost their ability to hold a firearm after they lost their, failed their psych eval. Affected deputies who were found to have scored a D or not suited on their evaluation constitute a little less than 5% of the office's 1,000 member force. The deputies will retain their pay and benefits. However, they will lose their ability to hold a gun. Maybe they'll find work in Nebraska prisons. We'll see.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And last but not least, in other news, 88 Tactical, speaking of guns, 88 Tactical is expecting and expanding to entice the whole family to its gun range, even equipped with a skating rink and ice hockey rink. The expansion will increase the facility square footage.
Basketball courts over there.
No basketball courts. No.
Ice hockey rink, though, you know.
But yes, the square footage will actually double at this shooting complex from 27,000 square feet to 60,000 square feet, and includes 20 more shooting lanes, a member-only bar, which I don't know if there should be alcohol and shooting range in the same area. I don't know how good of an idea that is.
That's not news. It's been there.
There will also be a restaurant and outdoor recreation area for concerts and stuff, so you can shoot and listen to the country music or whatever.
Okay, so I just want to make a quick comment on this because we keep on bringing up Tactical 88, and maybe you don't know why we feel like what we feel like. So I'll just plainly put it out there. We feel as if white people's culture, the culture, not the people. The culture is one of let's strengthen law and order, and we can do that. Now, each individual white citizen has the responsibility to do that. So we're going to make sure that we bring in this propaganda that cops are good, police is good, the whole system of policing is strong and needs to be believed in. Let's bring young folks in and families in to make it a family affair. We eat pizza and watch the clowns and do some shooting and watch a concert. Let's let them mingle around with the police officers and police chiefs and police and sheriffs that are members of these clubs that are inside, because they're VIP clubs inside of the Tactical 88 where police chiefs and stuff like that can go. So now you're around a bunch of police officers in an environment of fun and happiness
and shooting,
so that you can have a good attitude about so that you can not feel like you would ever go against what the police are doing. If they're doing anything wrong, you're going to take the police side, because your experience with the police from a kid is eating pizza and having Officer Bob show you how to shoot, and these things turn into recruiting police officers. And I think the whole police situation needs to be revamped. And the system as it is now is broken. So why do a bunch of propaganda and a bunch of stuff to try to enforce the belief in that system and to continue that system as is? And I think that that's what this business is choosing to do. And I think that it's informing the culture. And trust me, the enemies that they are getting themselves prepared to fight for, the enemies that they feel like are out there, the people they feel like they need to have everybody protect themselves from, is us. So it's like the way that there's militia groups hiding off in the woods practicing how to shoot. This is a mainstream version of that. Now they can come on here and say all they want to, that this is not their intention, that everybody, there's people that are gun enthusiasts, but let us have a Tactical 88 on the grounds of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Let us have a predominantly Black organization that has amusement park rides and concerts and shooting ranges and ice cream shops and everything else all in one spot where the whole family, all of us can always learn how to shoot and see how long that stays open.
I also like to add the relationship between not just the police recruiting, but the militia groups, as you mentioned, like the relationship between police and militia groups, that we kind of see that play out firsthand in the Kenosha, Wisconsin situation, where the young militia cat walked straight with the police, was walking with the police, was helping the police. They were trading codes and things like that. Again, Tactical 88 and the Omaha Police Department just traded a bunch of equipment that did not equate to a fair trade as far as financially. That was like that was a hookup. That was a favor.
Right. Because that's how closely they're related to. They're all part of those clubs. And we don't got to go as far as Wisconsin to see that. There was militia groups standing out in front of McKesson's during Freedom Summer, right across the street from the cops, fully tactical, vested up with assault rifles, walking around talking about they're just out there to help keep the peace, help the cops out.
Mm-hmm.
Out there in front of a black business in downtown. So we don't got to go that far. There's militia groups. There's more militia groups in Nebraska than a lot of places. And when anything happens, like what happened during Freedom Summer, where everybody went and marched Black Lives Matter in downtown area, they come out. They've been out there to show you what they have. And these are all folks that and a Tactical 88 is a company that does these types of things, pushes these types of things on in a context of fun and family and how to in the innocence of protecting yourselves from the enemies. Where are they at? Where are the enemies at? Who are the enemies?
Right.
Precious says, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just have a local gun range run by some black folks?
BAA.
Why don't we open one up? BAA. Maybe. Got the land. Maybe they want to do it on there. Pop says drinking in gun range is like putting Match Company next to a gas station. Makes a lot of sense. Pops, you know, I don't think you understand what I'm talking about here. Ain't nobody gonna shoot nobody at Tactical 88. They're all in the same gang. Ain't nobody gonna get accidentally shot because somebody got drunk and got mad and started shooting at them. They're gearing up for the enemy that's outside of Tactical 88. They're having a grand old time in there. Erica Phil says, it scares me because growing up in Portland, every fall there was a race day where black teenagers and white teenagers and young adults met at this specific park downtown to beat each other down. This feels like those white boys all grown up. Marianne Williams says, 88 Tactical is a white supremacist organization. They claim all the racist dog whistles they're called out on are just unfortunate coincidences and they get away with it.
Yeah.
They get away with it with people who are living out here that are fine with the police and are fine with them and all that. They're not getting away with it with us.
We know what it is.
Them dog whistles don't. We know what that is. Von Chapman says all people of color should sign up for Tactical 88 membership and then show up at their events. Wonder what would happen. Like blind Dave Chappelle joining the Klan. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good question.
Oh, man.
I know some black folks that are signed up to Tactical 88.
Mm-hmm. I believe State Senator Justin Williams is one of them.
Yeah. So we, that might be the idea. That everybody who is registering for a gun here in North Omaha, in the black community, go sign up, go see what's up, go see if you can get up in some of those VIP areas of the situation. Go see what's happening. If it's like that. Mr. Sacred said, I wouldn't give him a dime. Yep, you have to pay to get up in there for sure. So anyway, we keep on bringing this one. I don't want to drag that out long enough. I just wanted to explain it because we keep talking about Tactical 88, and some people are like, "Well, it's just a gun range. It's just a business." And I'm saying there's stuff behind it, and I'm gonna tell you what I think is behind it. These are my opinions and my opinions alone, and I'm very skeptical of living in a place that has a place like that. Rome's Review says, I've been to Tactical 88 and support the Second Amendment. The alcohol is available to upper membership. I do not align with their ideology. Here's a person, here's a chat chimer right here that is a gun person that has gone to Tactical 88, and he has to make the statement, I do not align with their ideology. What's their ideology, bro?
Yeah, that's a good question. I also support the Second Amendment. I do want to put that out there. I don't own a gun, but I am a concealed carry weapon holder. I have gone through training and things like that. But again, what is the ideology that you're talking about? Because there's some questionable things.
And I got to say, I don't care about the amendment. I'm not a gun owner and a gun advocate at all. And it has nothing to do with the amendment or not. The amendment is just its own thing. You can have the right to if you want to, whatever. But I don't believe in guns. Marianne Williams says, I think infiltrating the Klan is better than competing with them. I don't
know. By the door.
There you go. Though you know who know that book, go down to African American bookstore and get that. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Kyle Rittenhouse of the World, right? Whitney Richardson. Right. Brianna Full says, not gonna lie, I used to shoot there before I knew all this racist stuff, and then vibes were definitely off. Somebody who frequented the spot. There you go. Sarah Dappin says, I used to have VIP membership at 88 Tactical, and that's where I got certified for my CCW. Okay.
You go to the bar?
You were exactly the person we would love to talk about the vibe, about the ideology, about what goes on there. I would love to hear it. Also, she says, why do you know, Erica Feller says, why do you no longer? But yeah, I would love to, like I said, I would love to talk to you. This is when I'm bringing up the reason why I'm bringing this up. It's my opinion. It's how I feel. It's what I feel is going on out here.
Right.
And of course, my feelings doesn't make things fact. But this show is for us to discuss how we feel about some things, and for us to sit around and talk about some things and hear from the people that are actually in it, and be open enough to get our minds changed if that's the deal. I would love to hear from Ms. Dappin about the situation there, and what caused you to be in there, and what you thought about it, if you're still there, or what your thoughts are. I would love to. She says, I went to the bar. You cannot drink and shoot. Oh, okay.
It's still a little questionable about having a bar in there, but that's good. That's good. At least they have that in there. I am curious as to why. I guess you say used to. Are you still a member? I am thinking about that. But that's also, as you pointed out, Paul, what I love about this show and this platform. You have one person who, has no real information, but has a sense and is following and trusting that sense. I also have the same sense, but I also have a little bit more information, as I know personally the people one of the people who own Tactical 88 was a close family. My stepsister was formerly married to one of the owners of Tactical 88.
Okay. Wow.
So I have a little bit more, but I've never been. So the fact that we actually have people who themselves have been, and means we can have a full conversation about it, which is again what I appreciate about this.
Please, if I'm wrong,
let us know.
Squelch my fears, please. Precious says they hosted the Trump Sun for Republican events. Republican events getting hosted there. I'm not sure if not sure.
More private events.
More private. Yep. We'd like to know, because they're a powerhouse company in this area that is expanding right now, and that's huge. How many folks do we got to worry about patting us down? The latest episode of Atlanta is got a video with a kid that goes up to a door, and the lady comes out with a gun and pats him down. He's just a delivery guy, and they're saying, was she right? Was she right to be afraid and pull the gun out and act like a cop on this kid who's just delivering something? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that what you need? More citizen police? Is that what we need?
Is that community policing?
It is 9:02. We have no haps for you today. We have to wait till Friday because we are all the way late. Thank you very much for sticking with us this late. Thanks for everything. We will talk about having extensive haps on Friday, so get your haps ready for that. I will say that Precious McKesson is talking about a cleanup that's happening. Let me just make sure that date is not something that's gonna like be tomorrow or something like that. Where is that at? She was way up. She said fall cleanup this Saturday, so we can talk about it Friday. So Saturday, October 1st at Skinner Magnet, 9 to 2. Nona is hosting. Need volunteers. Lunch will be provided. Hit her up at nonaomaha@gmail.com. And we'll talk more about that on Friday. But thanks everybody for staying late. Terry Crawford says you're not wrong. Paul B. Clan adjacent raining is in there. Okay. We'll talk about it. We'll continue discussion next week. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, big shout out to the ladies of the day stopping through. With much appreciation to Sister Kimara Snipes. Put some respect on her name, and Sister Precious McKesson put some respect on her name. Big shout out to y'all for waking up with us this morning. Also, big shout out to all the chat chimers, first time listeners, last time listeners, ghost listeners. We appreciate everybody for experiencing this endeavor with us, and hopefully we will be able to continue to do so. So catch the same time, same place, man. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Until next time, Paul B. Take it away.
Right on. Pop says the fastest show on air. Loved it. See you all on Friday. Thanks, Pops. Carolyn
Yes,
Jack
yes.
says, great show. Appreciate that. Rome's Reviews gives us some thanks from over on YouTube. Thank you very much, Mira Sanchez. Can't do this without y'all. Precious McKesson says, appreciate y'all always. Have a great Wednesday. Thank you, Precious. Really appreciate you as well. And Miss Kimara Snipes, too. Thank you so much for you guys coming on every week. Sarah Daffin says, I had a very specific reason for my membership. Let's see. And I'm happy to discuss my experiences. Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll be happy to talk to you about it. Miss Erica Fell says, great show. Thank you all to the women who answer the questions and share knowledge. Stay safe, drink water, and be good to yourselves. Brother Valentine says, stay safe, fam, and keep holding people accountable. Lady Keeser says, thanks, Tooties. Peace. Is that what Tooties is? Like Toodles? Okay. That's what's up. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what she said. Toodles.
Toodles. Yeah.
Tooties, right. Got it. Toodles.
Gotta get your readers on.
Gotta put them readers on, boy. Them L's.
You see, I got mine.
Hey, man. We will see you on Friday. I want to give thanks to the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. Thanks to you, all the chat chimers that allow us to speak with you. And thank you for all the supporters who have been reoccurring donators to this cause as well. Go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, and we thank all of you that are reoccurring members of this channel so that we can keep this going. Share this, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you Friday. You guys have a good one. Take care of each other. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, how about this button?
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means